Welcome to AI ConvoCast, where we bring you the latest in AI and tech innovation. Please don't forget to rate, review, and share if you like what you hear. Let's jump right in.
Today we will be covering Anthropic's new Claude Opus 5 and how it's reshaping the economics of premium AI. Meta turning its AI assistant into a proactive agent that acts on your behalf. AMD finally shipping a full rack-scale system to challenge Nvidia, and a coalition of tech giants pushing back against restrictions on OpenAI models. Let's start with Anthropic, which released Claude Opus 5 on Friday. The headline here isn't just that it's a strong model, it's the pricing. Anthropic says Opus 5 approaches the performance of its flagship Fable 5 across many tasks while costing about half as much. In fact, they kept the price identical to the previous Opus 4.8 at $5 per million input tokens and $25 per million output tokens. To put that in plain terms, tokens are just the chunks of text a model reads and writes, and for anyone running heavy coding jobs or long-running agent tasks, those costs add up fast. So making near-frontier intelligence this affordable is a real shift, letting developers reserve the pricier Fable 5 only for the hardest autonomous work. There are a couple of genuinely useful additions here. Opus 5 introduces what Anthropic calls effort control, which lets developers dial the trade-off between compute, speed, and cost, depending on how hard the task is. And you can now switch models mid-task rather than scrapping your workflow and starting over. Anthropic is also calling this its most aligned Opus model yet, saying it's less susceptible to the kinds of tricks people use to misuse a model. The industry vote of confidence was immediate. GitHub added Opus 5 to Copilot right away, citing strong early results on autonomous code changes, regression testing, and multi-tool work. Opus 5 is now the default for Claude Max and rolling out across the paid plans. Next up is Meta, which flipped the switch on agent capabilities inside its Meta AI app and website. Powered by its Muse Spark 1.1 model, the assistant can now connect to your email and calendar, keep up recurring tasks, do research, and even build slide decks, all without you having to prompt it every step of the way. Meta frames the goal simply, describing an assistant that handles things so you don't have to. The point is moving from a chatbot that answers questions to an agent that quietly does the work in the background. What makes this consequential is Meta's reach. Think daily calendar briefings, weekly meal plans, research reports, or recurring shopping alerts, plus the ability to generate slide decks, mood boards, and schedules that get saved for later reuse. You can also redirect a running task in real time, so if a research job is heading the wrong direction, you steer it midstream. Because Meta AI is baked into apps that billions of people already use, persistent agents could become normal for users who would never go hunting for a specialist tool. The rollout starts in the Meta AI app and on the web, with WhatsApp, and more countries coming in the following weeks. And Meta says incognito chats stick around for conversations you don't want tied to your broader context. Moving to the hardware side, AMD said its first integrated Helios rack-scale AI systems are in full production and will ship within months. Here's why this matters. Nvidia's real advantage has never been just its chips, it's that it sells complete, ready-to-run systems, entire racks with accelerators, processors, networking, and software all working together. Helios is AMD's clearest swing at competing on that same level. It combines its MI455X accelerators, Venice EPYC processors, and Pensando networking, with a heavy emphasis on an open architecture rather than a closed, all-NVIDIA stack. AMD also announced a partnership with Cerebras, the company known for its wafer-scale processors, which are essentially giant single chips built for AI. The idea is to pair Helios infrastructure with Cerebras chips into one inference workflow that targets both low latency and high throughput. In practice, that means trying to serve fast, interactive responses and bulk text generation at the same time without sacrificing one for the other. Cerebras plans to install Helios in its data centers and offer the combined service through its cloud later this year, and Microsoft has separately committed to deploying Helios at scale on Azure. Infrastructure watchers pointed out the key shift here. AMD now has an actual production rack-level product, not just another roadmap promise. Finally, 25 organizations, including Nvidia, Microsoft, Meta, IBM, Dell, Hugging Face, and Palantir, published a policy letter opposing what they call premature restrictions on downloadable open-weight AI models. Open-weight models are ones you can download and run yourself, rather than only accessing them through a company's servers. The concern is that rules aimed at limiting Chinese models could end up sweeping in American developers, security researchers, and companies that need to run models locally or on their own infrastructure. Nvidia's Jensen Huang summed up the coalition's stance on X, writing that the world needs both frontier closed models and frontier open models. The group is asking Washington to expand access to compute, datasets, and evaluations for startups and researchers, and argues that if someone is illegally extracting data from closed models, that should be handled with targeted enforcement rather than blanket limits on the whole practice.
One telling detail: Anthropic and Google were notably absent from the letter, and reporting conflicted on whether OpenAI eventually signed on. That split among the big labs shows just how much the open model question has become a genuine fault line across the industry.
Thank you for listening to AI Convo Cast. Please don't forget to rate, review, and share if you like what you hear. Thanks and hope to see you again next time.